I'm Daniel and it's Ashville Weekly, episode 130. This episode of Ashville Weekly is sponsored by Manscaped. It's Monday morning, I'm at the yard, and as you can see, the train has arrived. For a couple of weeks, you saw me on the A40 on a Sunday, and I was saying everybody's got work and we haven't. But happy to say some of the lads were out working yesterday. You need to work out if that is actually a better plan, because they have to park up one day earlier in the week in order to be out on Sunday. But it's always good to have work on Sunday because the work is better paid, and it's generally on infrastructure projects, which if you can deliver, you tend to get more lorries on that work. The time is 8 a.m. and I'm heading into my office to do some voiceover for the TV show. Hoop on a mic MC, Brez, check in, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Voiceover section is over. That's hard work, man. Just got some good news from Terry on a big order he was working on. We have it, about to go upstairs and congratulate him. And at the refurbishment project this week, we're doing the remaining rafters on the roof. Craig at ECS, his team are coming in to set up the internal aircon unit so we can begin to do the ceiling construction. And in the basement, we are going to begin to put up the stud wall system. Tuesday morning, we're in the yard and we have a fuel delivery. And Darren's got his new coat on. Look at that. Terry, what do you think of Dazza in his new uniform?
Smart, isn't it?
Correct. He does look smart. All right, so we're about to start the work on the Riddle Bucket. Taking a closer inspection at this. This is a really great bit of kit. It looks like it's battered, but this is a really strong bucket. We've got this piece in the center. This is a piece that we've had since we did the demolition at Gildon Village. Click here to watch that video, £100 million student bill. And this was one of the pieces of steel that was in there, and we brought it back to the yard. And here we are using it 4 years later. Now, the other little bits you can see at the bottom, those were bits that were already cut out. So if we put this bit of steel in the middle and we fit those bits, it should button up against both sides. And if we place them all the way along and put this together and then strengthen it up with some other steel pieces, this should be a great Riddle Bucket. Had a meeting this morning in the yard at 7 o'clock before I went into the yard before the fuel delivery arrived. When the meeting was kind of finished, they were asking me a couple of questions about my plan, and they were saying,
you've got a TV show coming out on an international network, you've got your own YouTube channel, you're pushing on with concrete, you're pushing on with aggregates, you want to take the business national, you're doing all these things, but what's the plan? How does this all fit together?
In my head, I know what the plan is, but I'll be honest, I didn't really tell people what the entire plan is. Because if I was to actually tell people what the full-on plan is, they would actually think I'm mad. They would say,
oh wow, that's great, he's so ambitious.
But in their head, I know they'll be thinking,
this geezer's a dreamer. This geezer isn't realistic.
What's the point in being realistic? Whoever got anywhere being realistic? That would limit where I was going to go if I started to be realistic. If I started to be realistic, I wouldn't have done half the things. If people were being realistic, there'd be no electricity. You wouldn't flick a switch and a light would turn on. Being realistic isn't something that I do. But to answer their question about the plan, I have it. But sometimes when you're doing so many different things, you can't exactly see how the dots connect and how you got there. And the only time you know how the dots connected is when you look back after they've connected. So when you're doing loads of things, you're focusing on them, you're trying to do your best on them, you might just look at this wide array of things and think, well, how's this all gonna work? I don't know how this is gonna piece together. But somehow, if you carry on, and you keep doing it, it does piece together eventually, but you just don't know how it's going to piece together until it's done it. And then you can look back and connect the dots, like I went here and then this happened here. And who would have thought that chain of events could have possibly happened? But chance favors the prepared mind. And if you've done everything you can, then things tend to work for you. This isn't my saying before I'm saying it. It's from Confucius. It's not me. I'm not trying to be a philosopher. But the person who says they can and the person who says they can't are both usually right. Think about that. I'm heading to my meeting. At the moment, I'm getting there at 2 minutes to 10, which is great because my meeting's at 10. What? Ashville lorry? Did you know that one man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? Testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer in men between ages of 15 and 35. April is National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, so Manscaped have teamed up with the Testicular Cancer Society to raise awareness and help us all take care of down there. If you visit manscaped.com/TCS, there's a video on how you can learn to check yourself. And while you're down there, why not trim some hair? This is the Lawnmower 4.0. It has skin-safe technology, an LED light, and it's waterproof so you can use it in the shower. Once you've checked and trimmed yourself down there, why not apply some of the ball toner and crop preserver and finish off with a new pair of Manscaped boxer briefs. Guys, this is serious. Ensure you check yourselves. Once you get the all clear, you can move on to the grooming. As always, if you visit manscaped.com and use the promo code Ashville20, you will get 20% off and free shipping. That's manscaped.com. Wednesday. And I mean, it is Wednesday, isn't it? I keep meaning to come out and have a look at the bucket, but I haven't had any time. I've just come off a Zoom. I went into my car to grab my lunch, and normally I come into the yard and I'm like, "Meh." But this time I've come into the yard and I'm pleasantly surprised. If you have a look here, we had the central piece put in, and then we have each of these pieces going in one by one, and center to center they're about 90 mil. Now we're working on the bottom pieces, but we need to make sure we line it all up straight. So for now, these are just tack welds to hold them in. And then when we get it right, we're gonna do a slightly stronger weld, but we need to do it enough that if we pick up the bucket and flip it, they're not gonna fall out. But it wasn't as easy as just slotting them in, because on some of these pieces here, the angle was incorrect and it couldn't fit on the inside of this point here. So we had to do a lot of prep work, and now we've done the prep work, it's feeling, I won't say easy, I won't say that about my townies, it's never easy, but we did the prep work, so now they seem to be slotting in place a lot easier than they would have.
I can hear you. Yeah, you're freezing a bit. No, I don't know if you're, but...
Yeah, it's not, we got 1,000 up, 1,000 down.
Yeah, so do we.
That internet there.
I'm not sure why that's happening.
No, I think ours is 1,001 up and 1,001 down if you've got 1,000. I think that's what it is. I think ours is better.
So my current download speed is 250.
Let me just check ours. Yeah, 251. Yeah. So
okay, so similar. So it shouldn't be that, right? It's weird. My uploads, yeah, like 100 and something.
As we get the kit, we want to load it onto the system with all the serial numbers, where we got it from, how much we paid for it. We want all the inventory on the system. We want to store as much information as possible. We want to put it into the calendar when they're going to need servicing, so we get alerts. We want to enter our customers' details into this system. I want to make it bespoke for what we do. We want it to integrate with Sage 50. We want to be able to put all the cost categories and nominal codes in. Teza, anything else?
If we do any work to machines, be able to put the invoices against.
Yeah, so all of that is fine. I can show you a quick overview, including all of those points. Was there anything else you wanted to go through right now, or should we go through those, send me over those things, we'll take and go through?
We'll send them over, mate, and we'll go from there. We're going into a new venture, and it's my responsibility, if we're going to do something, to make sure that I give it over to the staff in the best way I possibly can. So because of past experience, Terry and I have been burnt many a time before, so we're trying to make sure that the mistakes of the past aren't repeated. So we know everything that needs to be done from an accounting, operation, transportation, logistics, safety point of view. So we're trying to put it all in place before we do anything. 7:14. I'm just about to leave the yard to try and go gym. It's the deepest of deep dishes, this weather. Now, it wouldn't be so bad if I only had to run to the car. But you know I love a sign. and I got to put some signs up by the silo because somebody pointed out the other day, while we have loads of information in the yard and we tell the drivers the bar to use, like the pressure to apply to the cement that's being pumped into the silo, there isn't a sign that says it. So I'm making another sign. But I said I would send the dimensions tonight. And I could say I'm going to send them in the morning, but I start voiceover in the morning. If I leave for tomorrow what I can do today, then I've got even more to do tomorrow. So now I've got to stand in the rain and measure a sign. Long. One of them can be 1,500 and the other one can be 800. No, but if it's 1,500, if it's 1,500, then, oh no, the width. What's the maximum width? It's 1,300, so it's 1,200. Ah, this is long. You were saying you got a meeting to go to?
Yeah, I'm very busy.
This is your meeting. This is your meeting. It's Thursday. We're in the yard. Last night we released the video on the commercial garage that we cleaned out, and we couldn't get in there. But finally, Mikey got in there today, and he's got the cable. This is the cable I was talking about, and I'm really pleased we got it. So now we're going to put it into a bit of storage. I just finished my last session of voiceover for the TV show, and then now in my office dismantling the sound kit. And I hear there's a delivery of something else that's about to come in, and it ain't type 1. Today was the final voiceover session, yeah? Terry messages me, he was ill last night. Dan, I've thrown up, I'm going to sleep, yeah? I panicked, I didn't sleep because I thought I had to cancel the voiceover session. I didn't know what was happening. But then I realized that I'm still talking like I'm in voiceover.
And then I realised, how dramatic.
And then I realised that me and Terry were going for something to eat tonight to celebrate his new job role. And I knew that Terry the Nyamist would not miss out on a dinner. But I didn't sleep properly. Look at Simon hiding, the accountant hiding. Gonna count his money in the container.
He had problems with the loading shovel, yeah?
Who did?
Flo the other day.
Yeah.
It's called Lee bearing. Half the problems on it is that the software updates have gone so far that the memory card in the thing couldn't take no more software update.
Yeah.
Now the screen is too old that some of the functions on the screen won't work because the software updates.
Well, how much is a new screen?
I don't know, he's got pricing now, but he reckons some of the bits he's talking about, we're looking at about $5,000 for all the bits.
$5,000 for a screen?
Well, calm down, man. Just listen to the whole story and not the bits you want.
Bro, I've just been doing voiceover.
You have to make that sound really dramatic.
Exactly.
Come back after the break to see how much this costs.
Really happy with the Amarok. That is going to our new salesman who has passed his probationary period. Got a couple of jobs bubbling, a few things he's priced. What you price now is what you end up doing 3 to 6 months, and some of the jobs are beginning to come off now. Now there is a personalised plate for that, as there is a personalised plate for everything. AS14 Con, Ashville Concrete. AS14 Bay, Ashville Baby Grab. AS14 SKP, Ashville Skip. AS14 MUC, Ashville Muck. AS11 HGV, Ashville HGV. AS14 Rock, Ashville Rock. AS14 MOT, Ashville MOT. AS17 MUD and AS19 MUD, Ashville Mud. AS14 OPR, Ashville, and it's meant to say QPR. AS19 MUK, W60 OPR. AS11 MUN, AS17 MUK. AS11 CON. Ashville Concrete. AS14 MUK. AS14 HGV. AS14 RMC. Ashville Ready Mix Concrete. AS14 MUD. Ashville Mud. Right, let's go and have a look at this number plate. Terry, have you got the keys? Who's got the keys? You ready for this, yeah? Let me tell you about my plans, yeah? So this is for the sales rep. Know that I have AS14 rep, AS17 rep, and AS19 rep. That should tell you what I'm looking to do with sales here. Know that. Now I'm gonna go to show this to Darren. So I can see the look of excitement on his face when I place even more pressure on his shoulders.
Yeah, I've seen it. Thank you, mate. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
No pressure. We haven't swapped it over yet.
Oh,
we have to wait for the logbook.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah?
I was waiting for you to hand me a screwdriver.
Yeah, no, don't worry. Oh my God, I just realised how spacious this office was and nice it was. So hold on a minute. Let me just sit on this chair. So Darren is focusing on aggregates and waste, and we have someone starting on Monday who's going to be focusing on concrete. But they are definitely allowed to cross-sell and help each other. You got to have rules. It's like one of them ones. Both salesmen can't be on holiday at the same time, and both people in operations and transport, they can't be on holiday at the same time either. Someone's always got to be here.
I'm the only one in the office.
No. I'm interviewing tomorrow. Yeah, we're interviewing for videographers tomorrow. And another thing, I haven't seen videos.
Yeah.
Bruv, can you imagine Terry editing videos? Everything would just be trying to stitch me up. Like everything. Like
because your current videographers are no different.
Julia's always cackling in the background when someone's burying me.
So I'm just going to get some of this fresh water.
Yeah. Enjoy that fresh water. Go on, tell us, freshly filtered water. Terry, do you want to put the air conditioning on or the heat in? Or maybe you want to have a read of the policies up there, except the modern slavery one. Don't try and be smart.
I've read enough of that.
Maybe you want to use the printer there. Or maybe you want to jump on your computer, Terry, and use your fibre internet, which is 1,000 up and 1,000 down. Maybe you want to use that. If there was problems here, the man would be complaining. So I do put everything in place so he can have a comfortable life here, and he's complaining. It's just
I'm not
like...
complaining at all.
It's all right, Terry.
At all.
Today looks like a couple of things are coming together because I've been told downstairs that the Riddle Bucket is now also complete. So if I grab a load of material, got the bucket on, turn it outwards, lift it up a bit, kick it in a bit, and we should be able to do this. If there's a load of sand or soil, you pick it up, you hold it in place, and you shake it. The sand falls out of it and the big rocks will be left, and then you can separate the big rocks and put them somewhere separate, which is good because then you can use the sand properly, because you really only want the sand to be a 0 to 4 mil, and then you can use the rocks and possibly get a free tip or bring it to someone who's going to put it through a crusher. Forgot to say, we had a job, and this job was at a school very close to Terry. So they needed a load of type 1, and they needed it on Saturday, and they needed us to help them out, which we did. That is the school which is local to Terry, where Terry hopes that Cora will go in a couple of years. Oh, helicopter. Maybe it's my mate, Paul from Fox Brothers. Wilson.
Daniel, my old boss, I worked longer hours than you.
Hey, nah, don't try it. You don't work longer hours than me, Wilson. Hey, where are you?
I'm in my office.
Yeah, but hold on, clarify. Are you in your home office or the office office?
No. I'm in my work office.
What time do you get in the office, though?
8:30.
Yeah, bruv, you're a part-timer. I'm trying to monitor your progress, watching your stories, seeing you travelling around the world. What's work saying, man?
Full steam ahead, but yeah, I can't complain. It's the way I want it to be. There's a lot of people who I'm trying to prove myself to, but they're all lovely people and getting to know me, hopefully.
What's this I hear? That you're having a skip tomorrow?
Yeah, Ashville skip, obviously.
That's obvious,
We've just converted our ground floor offices from offices to studios.
Yeah.
Personal studios and recording studios.
In your mind, was there ever a second? Did anything ever enter? Or did anyone in that office even think of something so silly as to not use Ashville for that skip?
Well, let me be real with you. When I joined, there was some other skip company. I'm not going to mention names. But they went and Ashville's coming in.
They were using another skip company, yeah?
I know, what disrespect.
Bruv, the disrespect. Whoever owned that skip, their every breath is an insult to me. But Wilson, you went in and fixed it up, innit?
Obviously I had to sort them out.
My guy Wilson. How you getting on with them scheduled emails?
I've been scheduling my emails on the weekend so that it lands on people's inboxes Monday morning.
My guy. What's your title other than General Badman? What's your other titles there?
Technical manager.
Ooh. Have you got a business card?
Not yet, but they're being printed.
When your business card is printed, Wilson, just do me a favour. Just put one of them business cards in the post. Wilson, you've got all the chat, boy. I wonder where you learned all that chat, and you learned about scheduling them emails and getting. I wonder where you learned all that, Wilson.
Yeah, I wonder.
Have you got more hench?
I've just signed up to David Lloyd, so I'm going to start doing gym classes.
Glasses?
Well, you know, like personal training.
All right, cool. But bro, don't let me find out you were in bums and tums or any of that, yeah? That's not how we train, Wilson.
I don't even know what that means.
Good. Wilson, when you're ready for the bad man training, let me know in it. Man will just give you one session in each body part and then just fix you up so you can build that body in it so you can get that thick back and that big chest. So they know when you come in the room, this man can flex.
They know what's going on.
Yeah, you understand? Boy, Wilson.
Yeah.
Is there any linkage?
Ah, Jesus Christ, not on camera.
Oh, we can cut it out. Me and Wilson need to have a different conversation about Wilson's personal business. Business that we don't share in Ashville Weekly. What's happening, bro? You doing? You good? You alright? Yeah. How you doing? Good? Terry and I just finished eating in Central. They're going to have to close sheesh because Terry boxed all the food and then he took takeaway as well.
Is it my takeaway then?
Nice to catch up, bounce some ideas, and just generally chat garbage. Sometimes it's good to chat garbage and not always have to chat about work. We came out to celebrate Terry's directorship, if that's a correct term. Well deserved, and it took too long. We should do it more often. But obviously not if Terry starts drinking and that, innit? The last time Terry had a couple shandies, he come to work late in the morning, innit? So we're not gonna... Am I lying? Am I lying?
It happened once, it wasn't the last time.
It happened once, yeah. That's it for Thursday. We are in Central. Friday, and I'm in the yard. I was just making my way around to the backyard, and I was just, as one of the concrete lorries was going over the wheel wash, I just wanted to see how much dirt it was taken off. And you can see that it does clean the wheels. Over to the backyard, see what's happening. Got to take this call. Happy to say that young Wilson was true to his word. And today at Wilson's office, they had an Ashville skip arrive.
Thanks, George, mate.
Now in the backyard, there's an area over the other side of the railway that we use for storage. Now we're going to begin to tidy this area up because I need the space. So there's plenty of fence and plenty of other materials that we are not going to use, but we don't want to throw them away because I am a bit of a hoarder. What we're going to do is go through the steel, and we're going to make different bins of steel, and those different bins of steel are going to be steel we're going to get more money for, steel we're going to get less, the good stuff, the bad stuff, all the fence posts that we can't keep, we're going to get rid of those, we're going to keep the good ones, we're going to reorganize the buckets, we're going to take the bushes we want, we're going to sort out the pipes, and we're going to make this space usable because I want to concrete a part of this area for the new business venture we're doing because we need some additional space. But I want it concreted because I don't want everything having to track through mud and be dirty. I've given it away a little bit there, haven't I? There will be a little bit of a challenge doing this area because we have 2 trains next week. Monday, we have a train of type 1 that is coming in at 7 a.m. It's going to be in the yard till about 12:30. But then on Tuesday at 4 p.m, we have a train of sand because we've managed to make a deal and reserve a rate for the next 12 months. It is not cheaper than buying it locally, but the problem is locally sometimes you can't get it. Like with the water tower, like with our BSI, our concrete salesman starts on Monday, and I don't want to hinder anything he's doing. I want to make sure that we have substantial credit limits with all of our suppliers. We have the material, we have the water, all the trucks are ready, because there's no point trying to arm someone and send them out and tell them to have a boxing match and tie their hands behind their back. So I want to give him everything he needs to succeed and ensure that the business never has to say to people, sorry, we haven't got any. But it does put a bit of a challenge in the way that the train will be right here and we're not going to be able to clean that area, so we kind of need to work around it. Time is 7:48. Last person in the yard, about to leave. Meant to go gym, but my lower back is killing me, man. Need to find out what's going on with it. I might rest it for one day, go home and get some food. I saw earlier on, the roll-on roll-off was busy. He kept coming into the yard, loading bulk bags and leaving. He did it about 4 or 5 times today, full loads of bulk bags. I was really pleased about that. And I spent the latter part of the afternoon interviewing videographers. I've got more to interview on Monday, so we've had some really capable candidates, what I'm happy with. The future's bright. Anyway, that's it for Friday in the yard, man. Saturday, the time is 5:48, and I'm working on the weekend like usual. I've been in the yard all day. I was meant to train, but there was absolutely no time. There's so much happening on Monday, and the job at Andrew Southern's house, we did a showcase on his house, a £15 million house. We didn't build it, but we consulted. We were far too busy at the time, we couldn't take it on. We have to go and do some repair work in the garden. In order to do the job, we have to start the demolition on Monday, because we need to strip out the back garden afterwards, and we need to stop it from getting waterlogged, and we need to sort the underground drainage and irrigation. And there was a massive plan that was going into it, but in order to start the demolition, I had to do the calculations with Manny at Elite Paving of the work and the quantities of the rest of the garden and what needed to be done. So basically we need to take off the top layer of turf. Now bear in mind there's a football pitch there as well, so we've got to take off the astroturf as well, and then we're going to have to make lines of irrigation. So we're going to have to dig trenches, we're going to put shingle, breathable membrane, more shingle, and then perforated pipe, and we're going to have those trenches in different places which are going back to large soakaways. So we're probably going to dig the soakaways 2 meters by 2 meters, and probably go 4 meters down. Unless we don't hit water, then we probably need to go another meter to about 5 meters, and then we're going to get a large oversized stone with no fines. We're going to build up that area, then we're going to use a type 3, and on top of that we're going to use a 2 to 6 limestone Ultiflow or whatever you call it, and then we're going to have some topsoil, and then we're going to have the turf. But in order to quantify that, to provide an accurate cost, we had to go through it and we had to work out the size of the area. I needed to calculate how many lorry loads of muck have to come out. The demolition was the easy part, but with the demolition I had to work out the concrete we're going to break. I had to know how many loads of concrete are going to come out, how much muck, and we managed to get the price across, and they have agreed, and now we are starting on Monday morning. Aside from that, the interviews that we were doing yesterday with videographers, one of the videographers is starting on Monday morning, so I had to send an email to the team at Subset so he could have an email. He's going to work on iMac 1 so he could have his own cloud, his own login, and at the same time I sent a message over to Matt to start working on the employment contract, which has all his terms, his wages and everything else, just so when he arrives on Monday morning everything will be in place. The sticker man's meant to be collecting me from my house at 7 p.m. Because we're meant to be going to watch the boxing, but I'm struggling a little bit for time, but as always work comes first. I have a flying lesson tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen with the weather the way it is. And finally today we have someone who's been driving with us. It's quite nippy. It's part of the wolf pack. Now what I didn't know is this man had a CPC, and he's sat in offices before and done compliance and run lorries. But he hadn't mentioned it to us because the last place he sat in the office, he didn't like the vibe in the office and he got very bored. But he has now got out of the driver's seat in the lorry and he's sitting in the hot chair doing transport. And I saw him earlier coming to grips with our system, getting his head around it. Now this is a first, because generally when people sit in the transport seat, they need to know, where do we go for sand, where do we go for type 1, where do we tick the mark, where do we tip the rubbish, what do we do here? He's been on the road, so he knows where everything is, and he's doing the jobs already, so he knows how many are possible. It's really for him about learning the system and coming to terms with the emails and all the other bits like that. But you know, I hope he does well, and I hope it doesn't cause any friction with the other drivers, because just because he's not sitting in a lorry no more, it don't mean that anyone's any more or less important than anyone else. We're still all on the same team trying to do what's best for the firm. So for his sake and our sake, I hope he does it well, and I wish him the best of luck. He's only going to put it in Ashville colours. Hey, why does it look like it's in Ashville colours?
Stripped it, bro. Wrap off.
Hey, right. I am feeling that, boy, in Ashville colours. It's Sunday morning. Just left the gym. The time is, no it's not, it's Sunday afternoon, it's 12:07. I got to the gym at 8:30 this morning and my back was hurting, so I couldn't squat. So I did some stretching, I did some core work, and I did cardio. And then I found my creative space. You go into steam, then you go into cold water, steam for 10 minutes, freezing cold water, steam and freezing cold water. And for some reason, that's when I'm at my most creative. I don't like the sauna, it's dry heat. When I'm sitting in the steam room, all the ideas start flowing. There's so many ideas, and I get out and I quickly try to use my phone, wipe my hands, type some stuff down in my phone before I go back in and have another 10 minutes. Luckily, I've got these earphones, which are sort of waterproof waterproof so I can listen to music while I'm in there as well. There's so many things I was thinking of, like the job we're starting at Andrew Southern's tomorrow. The way I want to film this video of saving the irrigation system, I'm going to ask Andrew for the CAD drawings of the house. And once I have the CAD drawings, I'm going to make a 3D model with meds. I'm going to do an interactive 3D screen, which is going to show the irrigation, but from the side. So you'll see the garden, and then it'll go 3D, and you can go underneath and you can see the way the water flows. And I was thinking about the different ways in which we're going to film it and the script I have to write. Then I was thinking about the new business, what I'm doing at the moment. And with that new business, all the different videos, so I can share with you guys the process in me putting this business together. And putting this business together is slightly different from ones in the past because I've been doing it so long. I've learned from my mistakes. But I was thinking of, is this multiple videos or is this one video? I started taking notes in my head of all the information. And then I messaged Ara on one of my breaks, because I need to speak to Ara about it. And my ideas, I turn all Rain Man and start thinking about everything. But if I write it all down and I do too much, it's too much information. So Ara tries to rein it all in and give me direction. So I've scheduled a call to speak with Ara later. Then I started thinking about the business as it is and customers we haven't spoken to in a while, and I reached out and I started WhatsApping all of them as well, so I can try and get a dinner in the diary so I can try and increase the business we do with them, but also tell them about the new business venture we're doing so we can increase the market share. So many ideas, so much happening. These ideas and all the rest of the ideas, some of them I can't share. They're going to be game changers. So I'm going to go home now and hang upside down and try and ease the compression on my back that bit more so my back can recover. I'm going to get in front of that computer. I'm going to keep going until I can't go anymore. Click in the top left for the Ashville website. Click in the top right to subscribe to our channel. Click in the bottom left for an Ashville video you may not have seen before, and click in the bottom right for last week's episode, which was number 129.